Paul O'Sullivan is our guest on Newsnight now. Mr. O'Sullivan, good evening and thanks for joining us. You said, I chatted to you yesterday shortly after the story broke, and you said you became aware of the alleged assassination plot after confronting people that you noticed were tailing you. Take us back to that moment.
It was yesterday morning, very early. I was out in the area in which I live doing some counter surveillance, and I noticed 3 people in a BMW motor car, and we had a discussion, and they pointed out that they were undercover police officers, and they were preparing to arrest people that were coming to kill me. So we discussed a way of bringing them out into the open, and that's what we did.
And that didn't strike you as unusual, the way that particular conversation took place?
No.
Okay.
It's not the first time I've had people come to kill me.
Well, one can understand why the chief investigating officer, Killer Klimba, might be a target to possibly scare off other investigators in the case. Why do you believe that you are an alleged target?
Well, Krejcir wouldn't be in jail now. I mean, I think this is the 4th time he's been arrested. I started investigating him 4 years ago. There's about somewhere between 12 and 15 sworn statements from different people on dockets that have been opened against Krejcir. This is the 5th attempt he's made to kill me in the last 4 years. And some of the sworn statements go into a lot of detail where he was arranging to buy snipers, rifles and all this sort of thing. You've got to remember the first criminal charges that Krejcir faced in this country were charges that I opened against him.
Do you believe he's a man who has beef with you?
I think a beef would be minimizing it. Krejcir is in the trouble he's in now because of the steps I've taken and the dockets that I've opened and passed on to the authorities.
There were some developments today in the story, and Solomon Machali speaks for the SAPS, and there's some talk about this alleged hit being ordered by one of the suspects in prison. What light can you shed on that?
What do you mean, one of the suspects in prison?
That it was ordered from someone in prison. You believe it's Krejcir?
Well, I know it was Krejcir. There's no belief. It's knowledge. It's factual. You know, one of the people arrested yesterday was involved in previous murders with Krejcir. It's not my job to dish out all the information that I know, but I can assure you in the coming days everybody will become aware. So it's not a case of what I believe, it's a case of what's factual.
Let's talk about how, we've seen with the Krejcir's arrest on this attempted murder charge and this kidnap charge arrest along with some members of the Hawks. How deeply embedded do you believe police officials are in Krejcir's organization? Just how deep does this go?
Well, it goes, it's not a case of how deep it goes, it's a case of how high it goes. You know, the first general that I fingered was in 2010, and in 2010, or early 2011, I think 2011. Okay, so in early 2011, I fingered General Mabasa. He, at that time, was the head of crime intelligence in Gauteng. And I provided absolute evidence, factual evidence, of his relationship with Krejcir and the fact that he was on Krejcir's payroll. He left the police with a 3 million rand golden handshake. There's a number of other officers who have been arrested and charged for being involved in criminal conduct with Radovan Krejcir.
As our reporter Karen Morn, who's been following this case closely, talks about the fact that he's been slippery in court before. This is the first time that it seems like he hasn't been able to secure bail, that this case against him might develop into a conviction possibly. He's been charged with kidnap, attempted murder and so on. How will trying him on this particular case, Paul, in the courts, shed light on his suspected, on the wider operations of his suspected crime?
I think by the time he comes to trial, he won't just be facing the charges that he's facing right now. I've put together fairly substantial evidence to show us that he's linked. We can confirm absolutely that he was involved in quite a few of the murders. And I think I've gone into detail in the past. For example, the Uwe Gambala murder. There's absolutely no doubt that he arranged for that killing. In the same way that there's no doubt that he arranged to have me killed yesterday morning. He also arranged to have Lolly Jackson killed. He arranged to have Sam Issa killed. The weapon that the police seized yesterday at the hotel in Rivonia Road, that's the same weapon that was used to kill Sam Issa. So all the pieces of the jigsaw puzzle are coming together. And I think you've got a fantastic team now working on this job. This task team that Commissioner has put together includes some very seasoned detectives. And they've not been messing around. The last few weeks they've been very busy. And I think we're going to see a situation where Radovan Krejcir will never see the light of day again.
In light of developments yesterday, and I know that you came out fighting yesterday with Fighting Talk about you not being concerned about your personal safety. And just before we chatted...
I don't say I'm not concerned about my personal safety. I say that I take precautions and I'm not concerned that people like Krejcir can get to me.
What about
I think
your family?
everybody has to be concerned about.
What about your family?
I don't discuss my family with anybody.
Are you not afraid that, because this is, I mean, we've seen people in this case, as you've pointed out, die. Are you not concerned that they are still vulnerable? Is there police protection being offered to
I don't
yourselves?
discuss my family or the security measures I have in place with anybody.
But it's something you yourself, you say, take responsibility for.
I'm not discussing my family or my security measures with anybody.
All right, well, we're certainly going to watch developments in court over the next couple of days. And as you say, this case is about to explode in many ways.
I think watch the space. Krejcir will be charged. By the time he goes to trial, he'll be charged with a few murders.
Mr. O'Sullivan, thank you for your time. We appreciate it. Private forensic investigator Paul O'Sullivan.
Know more about your world.
enca.com